Hey, what's up, Dusk here? So I wanted to show off just how complicated, in a good way, this game is. It's pretty crazy. And then I want to give some tips for some new players that are looking to pick it up. Don't worry, it's one of these games that is easy to learn, hard to master. I think the best way to showcase this off, though, is to go into the PvP section. Yes, it's got PvP. Let's take a look. So if you hit the play button and you go to Kingmaker, Kingmaker is the PvP mode. You're wondering, well, how does that work in a 16-bit turn-based roguelike, right? Well, the way it works is you create a character and you go through and play it like you normally would a single player. You find items, you put together builds, but when you run into another character, or what would be a boss, it's actually another player's character that has previously cleared the level. And that is a photograph then that is left behind, and you have to defeat it like a boss. When I defeat that player, then my character will have a snapshot left behind as something that then needs to be defeated by other players. And this happens until you get to, well, as you can see here, there's 1, 2, and 3 stages. Once you get to the third stage, if you beat the person at the third stage, you are now a champion. Now, if you want to go a step further, you can try to take on undefeated champions. And then when you do that, if you can win, you then become an undefeated champion, and your player basically sits out as like a King of the Hill character that others then need to defeat. And if you view champions here, you can see I've done that 3 times. This particular build went on a 1-win streak, so I went undefeated and then somebody else came up. And when other people come up, it's just a snapshot. They get to see your build and counter build it. And this one still managed to win once, which is pretty good. This one didn't win at all, but again, that's not uncommon because people get to see what your character is ahead of time and try to counter build it. This one, however, went on a 5-game win streak. Let's walk through exactly what this build does. Let me hit the view replay, where I think we get to watch the battle that we lost to. So we're going up against, I did not get a chance to read, but hopefully you saw it there in the video. So what do we got here? We have the challenging player. Looks like they're doing a stone build mostly, stone and armor. They have -3 speed, so they're very slow. 12 armor, a single attack, and then 18 health. They're using a pacifist staff. On hit, gain armor and restore 1 health. And then they have what looks like a lifesteal blade attached to it, which will then give them additional health on that hit. So they're doing a lot of healing with just their weapon. And then we have Marble Mirror, battle start, gain armor equal to your opponent's armor. I have 22 armor, so they got to steal a lot of my armor. Stoneborn Turtle, at turn start, restore 1 health. If your health is full, gain 2 armor instead. So now we have a lot of armor gain. This also giving them armor. Clear Spring Rose, whenever you restore health, decrease a random status effect by 1. Shield Talisman, whenever you gain armor, gain an additional armor. Amplifies this, so that's going to be 2 armor, and that's going to be 3 armor, so that's 5 armor. That's at every turn start, and that's at every strike. This is going to be an every turn thing, right? Salt Crusted Crown, battle start, gain 1 Riptide, so that's a debuff, and they're going to put that on themselves. At the end of the turn, Riptide goes away and a shark comes in and hits you for 5 damage. Or something. It's how I've always interpreted it. But I think it's just an actual Riptide, I don't know. So we have Mineral Water, start battle, and Exposed. If your health is full, it decreases a random status effect by 2 and gain 5 armor. So this is going to get rid of that Riptide effect. So now they just get to enjoy having an item that gives them a health, which is a lot of health. In fact, this is the your base health starts at 10. So the single item has almost doubled their health pool. So this is a really good combo. And this also prevents other players from putting status effects on them. Things like acid, which will eat armor away every single turn. Ice Block Shield, which gives you a bunch of armor, but then you apply freeze to yourself. They're going to then cleanse their own freeze. Nice. Freeze is a debuff, by the way. Wounded, gain thorns equal to the enemy attack, but it has to be equal to the enemy attack. This isn't going to work super good against me because I don't have a high attack and I never get a high attack. Petrified statue, I've never seen this item before. Battle start, give the enemy 1 stun for each stone item. Oh, what? This thing is insane. Give the enemy 1 stun for each stone item. Looks like he only had 3 stone items. So 3 rounds of stun. Woo! And then wounded, regain your base armor, so that'd be 12. Wounded is when you get to half health or below. Golden muscle potion, every 3 attacks, or every 3 strikes, which is an attack, gain 2 attack. So we can see what this build does. It basically tries to be unkillable, and then over time, the attack just gets stronger and stronger and stronger until eventually they're hitting so hard that, you know, you really can't stop them. And then Rusty Ring, battle. Give the enemy 1 acid, which will delete 1 armor every turn. It's not a lot, but when you live forever, right? Now let's look at my build. My build, a Razor Thorn Spear. On hit, so that's every time I hit, I gain 2 thorns. Thorns work is when a player strikes my character, they take 1 damage for every thorn I have, then my thorns go away at the end of the turn. This is especially strong against builds that have multi-strikes, so you can hit multiple times in a turn, because they'll hit those thorns multiple times, right? So you can see the kind of style of build I'm going for, and then on hit, I gain armor. So you can see I'm also kind of defensive. I have Ice Block Shield, I gain 8 armor, but I get hit with 2 freeze, so my attack damage is cut in half for 2 turns. But I'm not really doing a lot of attack damage, I'm relying mainly on the thorns. I'm doing a thorn build. Diamond Horned Helm, another 8 armor. Golden Leather Vest, another 4 armor with some speed, because I really want to go first, so I can, you know, get my spear stack going. Let's see, Candied Nuts. Now this is the big one here. Battle start, gain 3 thorns. Thorns deal double damage. So if I have 3 thorns and they hit me, they're going to take 6 damage instead. Spiny Golden Chestnut, battle start, gain 6 thorns. Bloody Stake, when I get wounded, I get a bunch of health and some armor back. That's just survivability. Roasted Chestnut, battle start, gain 4 thorns. You kind of see the build, right? Elder Necklace is just some stats. It was one of these things that I threw onto the build because, yeah, I just found it and it was the best item I had at the time. Bramble Belt, battle start, gain 1 thorn and give the enemy 1 additional strike. Remember I said multi-strikes were something that this build excelled against? Yeah. And then Lifeblood Armor, convert 50% of your current health to armor. And then Golden Vampiric Wine, wounded, restore 8 health. So this is a combo. And this is where your order of your items comes in, because they actually tick down 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Lifeblood Armor goes off first, and it takes 50% of my health and then turns that into armor. But that is half health. I'm now wounded, right? Well, when wounded, Golden Vampiric Wine will proc and restore 8 health. So it heals back almost all of the health that got sacrificed by Lifeblood Armor. Very tanky, and the whole idea is that I can survive like really big, you know, like 1 and 2 hit combo attacks where opponents try to win in the first 2 turns, right? And then my thorns kill them while they're hitting me. Now, I actually feel like I have the better build here, so let's see what happens. Oh yeah, the Bloody Stake also heals, right? So yeah, we're 38 and 21. Woo! Look at all that armor, though. I think he just survives. But I get stunned for 2 turns, and that's crazy. So he has to strike twice. He takes 36 damage in thorns. He has to strike again because of the belt I have, which makes him take another... Oh, God. We pause it right here. He stacked so much armor But even though I was stunned, he nearly murdered himself. If I had had maybe like one more bramble belt instead of like an elderwood, he would have died. But, you know, the items are RNG, and so you kind of just have to try and put together what you could find. These are pretty rare. Oh, and it's also unique. Never mind. There wasn't going to ever be a second bramble belt. I would have needed something else. Okay, so with me being stunned, I no longer generate these additional thorns, which is going to allow him to get a little bit ahead. Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit, because it's going to be slow. Okay, now I should start generating thorns. He's going to take 4 damage in thorns a turn, but he was gaining 5 back in armor and slash health. Oh, plus I'm doing the damage. Wow. I'm hitting him for 3, and then the thorns hitting 4. That's 7 damage a turn I'm hitting him for. He's at 11 health flat. Now he's at 8 health. Oh, but he's getting exponentially more armor every turn. Wow. Or no, is that the chain vest? That's a one-time proc. I think that chain vest was a one-time proc. Okay, so I am actually grinding him down. But that chain vest proc gave him so much armor. And I did not have enough survivability because I was a burst thorn build. He was able to survive the burst, and then his grind down survivability build did win out in the end. Wow, that was actually a really, really good back and forth. That was a really good build that other player put together. But this build was pretty dynamite. That's why we went on that 5-game win streak. Pretty awesome. And now, you know, I redeemed the crowns. I already bought 1 skin, but now if I want, you know, if I keep saving these up, I can get some more. They're, you know, it's just a 16-bit skin, but they're free. Like, you don't pay cash for this. You earn them. They're definitely bragging rights. And you've got a couple you can buy. Like, I'm tempted to start doing magic-based builds and maybe going for the arcane skin or something that might be kind of fun to do. But yeah, that gives you a really good idea of what the late game for this game looks like, what the PvP looks like, past beating the, you know, the basic woodland and the basic swampland. But you also have all the unlocks that you want to go for, which are things like win against a lifeblood count, win against a spiderweave queen, things like defeat a palace guard, manage to haggle twice in a row without failing against a merchant, restore 40 or more health in a single battle while playing on the swamp. And it's important to go through and get all these unlocks because then that frees up these weapons so that you can take them into PvP, right? So you've got like the initial thing is like, oh, I want to beat all the bosses in the single player. Okay. Oh, now I want to get into the PvP a little bit. Okay, cool. I'm doing okay, but I need more items. So you go back to single player and you start trying to do all the unlocks, and you go back into PvP and you start seeing what you can put together. And then once you get everything unlocked, then you start theory crafting and hunting for very specific builds. And when you do Kingmaker, you can be like, oh, I want to go onto the woodland map for the first stage, the swamp map for the second stage, then back to woodland. And that's important because it controls your item pool. So then you're going to theory craft like cross, you know, pool item builds together. So if you want to splash a little acid, so to speak, you know, into a build, you can. It's a cheap game. You'll get your money's worth out of it probably in the first 2 days. I know I did. Let me look at my hours played really quick in this game. It came out a few days ago. I'm at 31 hours played. I think I have a problem. Somebody send help. Okay, so now we've got the tips for the new players. I'm going to try to keep this part very simple because if I just sit here and try and explain the whole game, it actually takes a while. And I want to keep this section really short. So I recommend starting on woodland. It's a little bit more straightforward. And once you get in here, the first thing you're going to want to do is check to see what random boss you drew. And then keep that in mind. You're going to try and counter build this boss. Like, that's the end goal here, is defeat that boss with your build. But very first, you need to get something that's going to let you kill the little mobs that are scattered around the map. Because you just start out with the wooden stick, does 1 damage, and that's not really going to cut it. I could kill this bear with the stick, but it's going to do like 5? It's going to do 5 damage to me in the meantime, and then I'll only have 5 health left, and you do not automatically heal health. Armor will automatically heal after every fight. You get all your armor back, but you do not automatically get your health back. So we're going to try to find these chests, which always have common items in them. You know they're common because they have the little green bubble. If you want to get rare items that have a little blue circle, you'll need to go to like the merchant or the hero's grave. Epics are purple. Again, you'll find those at the merchant and at heroes' graves. The first thing you want to do is just come up with a build that has some decent survivability that's going to let you deal with things like the bears and the wolves and the spiders and all the little stuff, so that you can get around and run through as many chests as possible, kill as many mobs as possible, because every mob will give you 1 gold, and then you can use that gold at the merchant, right? So let's see, thorns, a thorn item that comes with 2 armor, or a saffron feather that's going to have some healing on it. So right here, you probably want to decide which direction you're going to go. And we know we have a boar that hits really hard. On the first turn, if your speed is less than Razor Tusk, or if Razor Tusk has more speed than you, his first strike deals 10 additional damage. So we could either just build enough armor and health to survive that initial hit, and then have enough damage to do 5 hit points worth of damage back. Or we could go with the speed build so that Razor Tusk doesn't hit us for that insane amount of damage. So why don't we go ahead and go for the speed build? So that's going to give us +1 speed. Now we could go fight the bear, and we do have 1 speed, and we could heal up a little bit, and the bear wouldn't hurt us as bad. But it would probably be better to be a little bit stronger. So let's go to another chest. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so featherweight blade, if you grab that, if you have a featherweight blade and a saffron feather, this makes an item set. This is great. This is so lucky. I'm glad we got this. Once you unlock an item set, you will always see it when you mouse over the items, but other item sets, until you discover them, are hidden. You don't know what they are. But this is how powerful item sets are. It takes these 2 common items and makes them really good. So, Saffron Talon, on hit, so every time you attack a mob, you get 1 speed. Saffron Feather, turn start, convert 1 speed, or in other words, you reduce your speed stat by 1, and then you heal for 2 health. So this is a heal battery that you just have infinite healing. So now, just with these 2 items, we can pretty much run around the whole map and farm all the bears and spiders and wolves. However, our speed at 3 is still not fast enough to match Razor Tusk. So Razor Tusk is still going to just one-shot us in the first turn. So we would realistically want to keep going and farming some things up. But this is a really good starter point, and that's really what you want to do. You just want a good little starter point so that you can run around the map and deal with like the wolves and the bears and all those things. Like, we'll take out a wolf here, we'll see the build in action. We heal for 0 because I'm already full health. We get the speed back, so it doesn't matter. We get hit by the wolf. We heal the damage back. We hit the wolf dies. We're full health. This is actually an incredibly strong start. Usually you don't get a 2-item build right out of the gate this strong. You might need 3 items. I do recommend the spear shield. It's only 1 attack, but it comes with 7 armor. Really good starter weapon, and I think it starts the game unlocked too. So yeah, that's the game in a nutshell for new players. I would say focus on that first, and focus on learning how to beat the first boss. After that, you can start to learn the rest of the game. Every stage, which is the woodlands and the swamp at this time. Eventually, they're going to add another. But the woodland and the swamp, the woodland and the swamp both have 3 levels. And on the 3rd level, you will fight the boss of that region. For woodlands, it's going to be Leshen, who's a 2-stage boss. And for the swamp, it's the Hydra. So your eventual single-player goal is to beat those bosses. Anyway, I hope that's enough to help you get started as a new player. Again, there's a lot to discover. It's an easy-to-learn, hard-to-master game. It's incredibly fun, and the replay value is through the roof. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.